Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here with me today, this first Friday of February. I want to take a quick side quest for a moment and tell you about something that I've come across over the last few years, and that's the idea of seasonal living. So I want to talk about why that stuck with me and how it applies in business. So at its core, seasonal living is simply the idea that different seasons ask different things of us. They have different rhythms. There are times of the year that naturally lend themselves to growth, expansion, and pushing forward. And we see that in nature, especially in spring and summer. And there are times that are better suited for slowing down, for reflecting and adjusting, just like the earth rests during the winter. Instead of accepting the same pace or the same energy, the same output all year long. Um, sorry, I'm getting a weird pop-up. Okay, I think we're good still. Seasonal living encourages us to work with our natural rhythms and not against them. This idea shows up a lot across research on productivity and decision making, that working with your natural rhythms tends to be far more effective than constantly fighting them. That mindset has helped me better understand and work with my own rhythms and to be more observant and in tune with what each season brings. Even appreciating small moments like the way the rain creates these glittering ripples as it runs downhill, even though I'm stopped in traffic at a red light. For me, February definitely falls into a quiet category. Although it's sunny here in Portland today, the weather is usually cool, cloudy, and rainy. We're more indoors, more introspective, and it's a really good time to check in and see what's working and what might need adjustments. The same can be true in our businesses. We go through seasons there too. And it's not about stopping or pulling back completely. It's about checking in, noticing what's actually working, making small course corrections before moving ahead again. And that's exactly the shift that I want to talk about today, moving from reacting to your numbers to using them as a calm, forward-looking guide for what your business can realistically support next. So taking some time in a quieter season to slow down, just enough to look ahead, can help you stop reacting and start deciding. If you don't have that kind of guide in place, then urgency just takes over. Your decisions get shaped by what just needs attention right now, what's the loudest, whatever landed in your inbox or whoever is asking for an answer right in the moment. And what can happen is that decision making shifts into reaction mode, even if things are generally stable. And this creates a constant low level pressure, like you're always responding and reacting. And that can be really exhausting. It could also lead you to make decisions without enough context. And that's where your numbers should be able to help you. Um, you can use your numbers to create a financial plan. That's one simple way to step out of reaction mode and into something more intentional. Doesn't have to be complicated or rigid. It's just a way to create the context that might be missing when you're making decisions on the fly. A financial plan is not about predicting the future. It's not about getting everything perfect. And it's definitely not about locking yourself into decisions that you can't change. At its core, a financial plan helps you see where you are, where you're headed, and how to move forward toward what you want next. So it can give you answers to practical questions like, how much cash flow or how much cash do I actually have available to work with? What obligations are coming up that I need to plan around? Where do I have flexibility and where do I not? And how do I reach my longer term goals? With that kind of clarity, you can make choices with a lot more confidence. And that's what really changes the experience of running your business. So it's not just more hustle, but more clarity around what's possible. So the winter for me is very much an introspective season. It's a shift from looking backward to looking forward and planning for the upcoming growth seasons. Especially that's true when it comes to how we use our numbers. Most of accounting, by default, it looks backward. It accounts for what happened. It tells you what already happened, and that information matters. That's how we know that things are accurate, that we're compliant, that all the data is complete. But if that's all your numbers are doing, they're not giving you much help in the moment. What actually changes things is when your numbers start helping you decide what to do next. They can help you answer questions like how much can you comfortably spend without stressing your cash flow? Is now a good time to hire a new employee or to take on a new project? What should you focus on prioritizing in the next weeks or months? So that's when accounting stops feeling just like a chore that you check off after the fact and starts feeling like a tool that you can actually use. These forward-looking numbers, even if you have them in a very simple way, they give you something to lean on when it's decision time, and makes your process feel a lot more steady. So if your numbers feel unclear or a little overwhelming right now, or you're not quite sure how to use them to make a plan or make decisions, you actually don't have to fix everything at once. A simple place to start is just look at your cash balance and then your upcoming obligations, just enough to understand what's coming up and what you're working with. So you might just do that by opening your bank account and asking what's really available right now, and then look ahead a few weeks and know, what might be coming up, like payroll, rent or debt payments, any large bills that are coming up, anything recurring that tends to surprise you if you're not looking out for it. You're not trying to build a perfect forecast here. You're just giving yourself a basic picture of near-term reality. Then from there, you can zoom out slightly and look at your monthly trends. Focus on the last few months. You can see, is your income relatively steady? Are your expenses creeping up? Are there patterns that you're seeing month after month? You can also look back at the same time last year. What happened in the months that followed February? Were there seasonal expenses, slower periods, or busy stretches that maybe caught you off guard? Is there anything that tends to come up around this time of year that you can plan for now? And you're not doing this to overanalyze the past. You're doing it to look for patterns that can help you anticipate what's ahead. When you have that information, even in a very simple format, you can start using it as a guide. And you can do that by setting aside money ahead of any large annual expenses that you know is coming. You can plan for periods of lower revenue if your business has a slow season. You can time purchases or projects so that they don't unnecessarily put pressure on your cash. Even deciding what not to do without second guessing yourself. It can also look like choosing a pace that your cash flow can actually support, or saying yes to opportunities that fit and no to ones that would stretch things too thin. When you use your numbers this way, you can approve a purchase without worrying about payroll next week. You can know how much income you can pull for yourself without creating stress later in the month. You won't be scrambling when a quarterly tax payment or an annual renewal comes due. You can plan your time off for a slower period without feeling like everything will fall apart. And when something unexpected does come up, you have a cushion or at least a plan. Having that plan can change how your business feels on a day-to-day basis. If any of this resonates with you and you'd like support creating that kind of clarity around your numbers, whether that's building a simple financial plan, understanding what your cash can support, or figuring out your next best move, you're welcome to book a call with me. There's no pressure and no obligation. It's just a chance to talk through where things stand and what might be helpful for you next. I'll put the link to my booking calendar in the comments. I'm always happy to be a resource. Even if you don't reach out, I hope that this idea of seasonal living, even in business, gives you permission to slow down just enough to listen to what your business is actually telling you and make a plan for growth in the coming season. Thanks so much for being here with me today. Have a great weekend, everyone.